Hey there, my name is Sean, and this is Suicide Noted. On this podcast, I talk with suicide attempt survivors and ideators so that we can hear their stories. Every year around the world, millions of people try to take their own lives, and we almost never talk about it. We certainly don't talk about it enough. And when we do talk about it, when we do engage with people in that kind of pain, we're not very good at it. We're really actually quite bad at it, and that is a problem. So one of my goals with this podcast is to have more conversations, and hopefully better conversations, with attempt survivors, in large part to help more people in more places feel, I hope, a little less shitty and a little less alone. Now, if you are a suicide attempt survivor and you'd like to talk, I would love to talk with you. Please reach out. hello@suicidenoted.com. To my prior guests, if you have not received correspondence from me, you probably have, but just in case, I want to let you know that every week I am meeting with past guests in small groups to have conversations about suicide. Right now, that is housed on YouTube. It will be expanding, and I would love for you to join us. And if you're a suicide attempt survivor or have personal experience in that space and you've not been a guest and you want to join us there, that's cool too. And a message to everybody: thank you very much for your ongoing support. And if you happen to really like the idea of transcribing episodes with a huge help from AI, let me know. We could use that kind of help. If you didn't check out last week's poll on Spotify, it's about the pink and purple pill. Check it out. And of course, this week too, a more simple question perhaps, about age. More information coming soon about the tour. Probably by next week I'll have a lot more information for you, whether you want to attend or help us out or whatever else. I think it's going to be really cool. It's not 100% going to happen yet, but it's getting closer and closer. Finally, we're talking about suicide on this podcast, like we always do. My guests and I don't typically hold back. In fact, we rarely hold back. So please take that into account before you listen or as you listen. But I do hope you listen because there is so much to learn. This episode is a couple of updates. Today I am talking with David in Texas, episode 130, and Rayne in Colorado, episode number 29. Both, of course, are suicide attempt survivors. I hope you enjoy the conversation. So I'm speaking with David in Texas. Episode 130, it appears, came out October 17th, 2022. So it's been 2.5+ years. We must have spoken probably the late summer, early fall of that year.
Yeah.
And what I want to do is with you is to play that little intro that I use for people. Hang on.
When I was on treatments that were much less successful than what I'm on now, I'm so happy to wake up every day and not be depressed. I'm delighted. I have sat here in this house by myself for so many years, and I still did not want to live. I did not want to live.
Medication, not wanting to live for a long time. When we talked back then, were you suicidal?
No, unless you want to classify no will to live. I always kind of separated it in my mind, not having any will to live, no desire to live, but I didn't feel the depression that I felt when I made the attempt.
So you were somewhere in the, I call the space between, like, you didn't want to die, but you weren't really wanting to live.
Right.
And I suppose the first very broad question I want to ask you, after thanking you, of course, for joining me here, is how are you?
I have gone through a lot of changes that happened last September. My little dog, Charlie, died here in the house, and it was a really sudden thing, and it was pretty traumatizing, but I pretty much, dealt with that. At the beginning of this year, my mother died. She had been here right near me for 6 years. And except for the pandemic, I saw her daily. I've been on the same medication since before the pandemic. Had found this combination that worked really well for me. The gravity of changing anything about it, my medication, with what I had been through, was just really frightening. I did, though, go ahead and stop taking it by January. I've done fine since then.
I'm glad you're better. When we talked, do you recall how many suicide attempts you had?
That was the one decision It was very calculated. It was final. There wasn't any ever consideration of not doing it at that
Right.
point. I was very definite that it was not a cry for help. It was, I am done. I mean this. I was alone and I was passed out for several days.
How did you try? Pills?
Combination of pills and alcohol.
Okay. And how did you get found? I don't recall.
I came to on my own. Nobody knew. Nobody knew about it until I finally told somebody.
When was that?
It was in October of 2005.
Okay, so there was years after that we first talked.
Right. Because I had looked for, any kind of avenue to talk to somebody about it. I mean, I talked to the psychiatrist
Sure.
that I went to because I had to just, explain it all to them what, I had done. It was a few months after the attempt. They put me on a medication it was so harsh.
And so many years go by, you eventually find this podcast. We talk, and now we're talking again. I'm wondering if you recall back in maybe 2022 or at some point after, do you know if you ever actually listened to your voice on this podcast?
I did. I listened to it more than one time. I know one of your questions is, did you share it with anyone?
Mm-hmm.
And I did. I made it available to friends who wanted to listen to it, and various friends did listen to the entire thing. It was a huge disappointment that my own sister would not listen to it.
Any idea why?
Well, I just think that it was so uncomfortable to her. I've done many, many, many things in my life that were so uncomfortable to me to do that I was determined to do because considering who it was.
So did anyone else hear it though?
Yeah. Yeah. Several of my friends listened to it and they were very supportive. It had impact because we are very close, have kept in touch through so many years. Even I can think of one person that didn't really know me all that well, but she had the idea of suicide and she thought about doing something and she just, came up to the very brink of it and didn't follow through. It was extremely intense for her. And so I asked her if she would listen to it and she did.
Mm. And so since we talked, it sounds generally that things have gotten better. Does that mean that you don't think about ending your life anymore?
Well, I can honestly say that I don't think it will ever leave my mind because I cannot emphasize enough how completely final my decision was. Because I mean, the least little ripple that comes along, it's like, if this does not go well, I'm not doing anymore. I don't think I can handle it and I don't intend to go through it. Things that happen to me health wise, if it gets to that point, I've already had diagnosis of 3 different digestive disorders. And I told my doctors a few years ago, if we can't get this under control, I want to go off all medication for treatment and I want hospice.
Death by not taking medication.
Yeah, but they do additional things when you're on hospice that can help speed it up. I never explored what that would actually involve, but I just told them that I was not going to continue living the way I was.
Yeah. And how old are you now?
68.
I don't talk to too many people just older than 60. It's always interesting to me. Do you have any differing views on suicide, perhaps since we last talked? I know that might be a challenging question to think about or answer. Do you think about it differently?
I feel like my views toward it are pretty static. I had definite ideas about it at the time. It certainly always colors my attitude toward hearing of anyone who commits suicide. Most of my life have always disliked terminology like passed away. No, he did not pass away. He killed himself.
There is a movement, I don't know if that's the right word, and you see sometimes, particularly on social media, people are so absurdly afraid to say the word suicide or even died. They say unalive.
Oh gosh. No, I haven't heard that.
Do you
I
ever
just,
listen to the podcast these days?
I haven't listened in a while. I did listen for a while. I was just surprised in listening to the other people because it took so much for me to get to that point and then to make the decision and follow through with it. It was so singular. I couldn't imagine multiple times. So I don't know why that shocked me so.
If you're not doing well, as you said, especially if it's the kind of thing with your health problems, but let's say it's however we're defining mental health. At this point in your life, can you imagine yourself ever checking yourself into a mental institution?
I can certainly envision contacting my psychiatrist. I can't imagine calling 911 and, saying, come and get me, take me to an institution.
What about 988?
Oh, definitely. I would call that because I remember when it first came along, people were hesitant. They wouldn't even call that because they didn't want anybody coming.
Right. That's still the case, no?
Yeah, it's huge like that, and I understand what they're saying. I don't know, it seems approaching the topic with someone over the phone like that in that professional situation, it's comforting to think that someone, will be patient and listen.
I don't remember when we talked in October of 2022
Mhm.
about the pink and purple pill. And that is, I give you a pink and purple pill. If you choose to take it, you would go to sleep gently, stay asleep, no pain, not wake up, and nobody would know it's a suicide. What do you do with that pill if I give it to you right now?
No, I wouldn't take it at this point.
Do you have any idea what you might have done back when we talked in 2022?
I would say multiple times of feeling like I wanted to do it, might well have done it. And it was still years after the actual attempt. So yeah, there was just too much, I don't know, anxiety and overwhelming sadness. It took a great deal of effort for me to restrain myself from doing it.
I know some things have changed in your life and there's been some additional loss. What, if anything, these days brings you joy?
It can be this very smallest of things, just some things that have worked out that I envisioned doing several years ago, 20 years ago. I really wanted, and it's like, for whatever reasons, life never presented opportunities. And just the fact that they happened and came along, and even knowing about something that's going to start happening if I have, a date of when things are going to start the way I want to work it, and joy is just the anticipation of it so much. It's almost like a feeling of, I can't believe it's really happening. The attitude that people have, when say something finally comes together for them, it's like that. I mean, it doesn't have to actually be happening, but just and anticipation as well. I get excited about just the possibility of how things may develop. My faith is something that, teaches me it's possible. Well, I'll give you an example. Years ago, took my mom to a doctor's appointment in my vehicle that I had. She hadn't been in it in a long time. When I returned her to her home, she said to me, if you will go online and look, I will buy you something else for you to drive. That was pretty definite, and I knew she meant it. I did go online and I did look for quite some time, but I never actually got out and looked at anything. Certainly didn't test drive anything. I just got, a huge overview of like what's out there and what prices they go for. One Sunday morning, I was thinking of attending church and I thought, no, I'm not going to go. And I'm like, no, I'm going to go. So I went, parked where I always park. And right next to where I always park was this shiny red GMC pickup with a for sale sign on it. Here it is at my church, pretty small congregation. So It was exactly in the price range of what I had looked at. And he said, if you will buy it before Wednesday, I'll take an additional 500 off. It was just, it was perfect. It looked brand new on the inside and it only had like 102,000 miles on it. How can this even happen in the world? Even though I always had beliefs, I felt that it was the most dramatic and undeniable example of how something can happen.
Are you a Christian?
Oh, yeah.
So what happens if you end your life? Do you go somewhere?
Yeah. Yeah. It's heaven. In my letter that I left for my family when I made the attempt, it was very casual for me to be able to say, I'll be waiting on the other side. While I didn't use the word heaven, it was very much a part of it. I didn't have any question at all at that point, even what the result would be.
I don't think we talked about your memoir title, David. I don't know if I was doing that then, but we need to. It's a tough one, right? What is David in Texas's memoir title / subtitle?
It's kind of unusual that I have had for decades a title in mind for what I would write.
Yes.
I've gone back and forth like, okay, what do I do this as, a novel or a memoir? And the title came from a little bitty town where my grandfather Weiser was born. The name of that town is Grays Prairie, Grays Prairie. The title that came to me was always Grace Prairie, GRAC. So, I mean, that's the only title that I have.
Grace Prairie.
Yeah.
Does it have a subtitle so the reader gets a little more information?
I haven't worked anything up for that.
Okay. We got work to do.
As far as the, wanting to die, not wanting to live, I don't have anything working for that.
Well, yeah, you're living it every day.
One development last November, I made a snap decision one day. I had in previous years been always going to gay websites for relationships, dating, so forth. But I had grown so weary of it that I had completely separated from all of it for so many years. I just needed it, I think, to protect myself from any further disappointment. Did not want to be involved with that. One day, I decided I'm going to try that again. So I did. I went back to this same one that I was so familiar with. I didn't even have a picture or anything to put in the profile. I just created it and did it to just start looking to say, okay, what's here? What I have been able to do is retrace some of the people that I used to know years ago. I've been able to reconnect and then, do more social things. I also started doing our local P flag, started engaging that way again. There was even a Thanksgiving meal in someone's home that was great. Really just exciting to, have that possibility again.
A little bit of hope.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you reconnecting and updating me on your life.
Glad to. For a long time, I think I always was hoping that something big would develop from what I had done doing the podcast, even talked to the people that were forming the 988 number, what it meant to be qualified to be on that. Explored that a little bit, but I never actually filled out the application. I just did not get there.
Some things came from it. People heard you.
Yeah, that's fine. I appreciate so much that you have done this for so long. You're doing something that's never been done before. I told you that for years and years, I looked actively for a way to either have a support group or, just some kind of way to talk about, the fact that I attempted and failed. There was nothing. I went to this healthcare center at Palmetto Care here, and there was nothing. There were support groups, but they had nothing to do with that. It's just never talked about again. It just goes into a big nothing.
That doesn't mean they don't want to talk about it.
Well, it doesn't. It just mystified me for years how many people have tried and failed. And then, they've never had any kind of way of talking about it. It has meant really a whole lot that you have done this.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I really, it was really good seeing you again and talking.
Thank you so much.
And I'm glad you're doing at least a little better. Maybe some point down the road, we'll do another update. Hope your day's pretty good.
All right.
Hey, what's up, Sean?
Hey, Rayne, what's your vape flavor?
Blue Raz.
We talked in like the end of 2020.
So much has changed since then, man.
When we talked at the end of 2020, where were you at?
I was in Denver, homeless, post-surgery, and still healing from that. That was a really rough time.
I remember being surprised, pleasantly surprised that you were even able to talk with me. Can you give us a sort of 1-minute overview? I know this is hard, of kind of what we were talking about.
By 2020, like I was already, like 25. I was an adult. Yeah, I'd had multiple attempts.
Hospitalizations.
Hospitalizations throughout my childhood for mutilation and suicidal ideations.
All right. And so you're growing up. It's always hard. It sounds, I remember this, especially as I reconnect with someone and I see them and I kind of remember, all right. So you've dealt with homelessness, addiction, multiple suicide attempts, multiple hospitalizations. What am I missing?
Just the trauma experienced in the meantime.
Yeah.
Between attempts, or just life happening. And I know life happens to everyone.
I don't remember where we left off that conversation, right? Like my goal at the time was to talk to you and others much sooner, but life happens. When we talked, were you planning or were you a little bit more on the side of like, I'm just going to try to get through this shit?
Both. I was teetering, but which I always have. Situations happen for everyone and whatever depression and that whole experience. Which now I'm not.
The cardiac loss, was that your mom? I don't remember.
Yeah, that was the woman that raised me. My parents raised me. They both adopted me. I went on to meet the woman that gave birth to me on my 35th birthday.
How old are you now?
I'll be 40 on Friday.
Wow, you made it. That's surprising.
Yeah, really it is. I was smoking crack under a bridge on my 21st birthday. I didn't think I was going to make it.
I mean, there's probably a lot of people you knew under that bridge that didn't make it.
Yes.
Yeah, but the odds were fucking totally stacked against you for sure. And you're here.
Today I'm memorializing, like just in my memories, like a friend of mine that killed himself some years ago today, older fella. I was all kinds of everywhere. Like I was homeless, just here today, there tomorrow.
How are you, just to understand homelessness a little better, how do you survive?
Sleeping is like I close my eyes and just hope that like I'm not messed with once I wake up, and like hoping I can go about my day. It's a roulette wheel.
Now you have your own place?
Yes.
Okay. How long have you been there?
2 years, May 2nd.
Since we talked 4+ years ago, ideating?
Occasionally, just because it's a love drug of mine.
Ideating is a love drug?
Kind of. If I haven't done it in a while, it's just like, well, where was this?
Since we talked, and I know dates might be hard, but have you tried again?
I haven't cut. I've ruminated, but because I've seen a couple people around me do it. I've grown in myself, like not wanting, like I can control today.
Yeah. What helped you get better?
Time. I have a therapist, and I've been with this therapist for like 6 years now.
Well, they're doing something right, I guess, huh?
Just about, yeah. People, love, like wanting to exist for someone else.
Did you actually listen to our conversation ever?
A couple times.
Was it weird?
A little bit. It was like I didn't actually stay on like topic what it was supposed to be. I just kind of like told my story because I was thinking that I should get it out because I didn't know when or if this conversation would happen.
Mm-hmm. Everybody comes in with like different intentions so some people do more like that. Sure. That was one of my early conversations. So I hope whatever better means in terms of the conversation or even the editing. But, in 2020, I was just glad people trusted me and trying to do the best I could and not be a total asshole.
Yeah, I appreciate your podcast and talking to me.
Do you ever listen to it now?
A few times, yes.
Yeah, and the reason I ask is like I'm not begging for more listeners. It's just more like I imagine some people listen in a little period of their life, whether they're a guest or not, and it just serves a purpose and they move on. And then others are more regular. And I'm just trying to gauge like what people get out of it, man. Like really, like what do people get out of it?
I mean, someone else. I mean, it's the knowledge that someone else is going through. Like other people have maybe not everything I can relate to from another person's story, but some things that are said, I'm like, okay, I'm not the only one. I felt that before. I've been there.
Do you recall if anybody in your life heard it?
Yeah, a few people I've sent it to.
But I imagine you're sending it to people who you trust, because I was going to ask, like, how did they handle it? I'm guessing you wouldn't have sent it to people if they were going to be assholes about it.
I don't typically I try not to surround myself with assholes.
That's a good MO. All right. Did they have anything to say? Were they
supportive and didn't know some things and were, like it opened their
yeah.
imagination and well, maybe not imagination, but like mind to like the reality of it happens to someone that you know and love.
Okay, pink and purple pill. If you take the pill, you go to sleep, no pain, you die. Nobody knows it's a suicide. I give you this pill right now. What do you do with it?
Put it away.
So you save it. If I gave you that pill in the fall or winter of 2020 when we first met and talked,
I'll always take it right then.
This is the danger of the pill, right? Because you take it, you're gone, and then maybe you didn't want to die.
Right.
Like you're proof of that. Do you want to be alive as we talk right now?
I do. I want to know what comes next.
What's your life like?
More stable. It's a lot more stable. It's stable. I can actually say that now because I have a roof. I have utilities. I have ability to get places without having to lug everything on my back. It frees up a lot. I can come and go as I please.
What do you like? What's a typical day? If there is a typical.
Wake up, eat something, go to work. Had a couple jobs since you last talked to me. Currently, I'm a cashier at a grocery store.
Do you ever miss being homeless?
Yeah, but today I'm glad I'm not. I'm glad I don't have to be. I mean, like, in the effect of missing it, there's a sort of freedom when a person was without a domain. I don't have to deal with the elements today, so I don't miss that when it's cold. So I'm grateful for that. And not having to wait until 7 o'clock that night to get into maybe have a bed if I get there early enough or I get the right number.
As we talk now, you're almost 40, housed in Boulder. Are there any these days myths or misconceptions about those things I just said, or perhaps other things you've experienced in your life that you want to say, that's bullshit? I think differently.
Nothing comes to mind.
What helps you feel a little less shitty or a little less alone in your life these days?
Karaoke. I'm a little bit of an addict. I'm not the best. I'm not the worst, but I have fans and a catchphrase.
Definitely one of the most surprising moments I've ever had on this podcast. I got to know what your go-to song is, Rayne.
I've done it for years. I don't really have a go-to anymore. Everything from a little bit of Sinatra, Smashing Pumpkins, Beatles.
How would you rate your ability to sing a song?
Not the best. I'm not the worst.
And where are you in the world of addiction? Are you an addict?
Yeah, as far as weed goes. I smoke weed habitually, yeah.
Do you take meds, like mental health meds?
I don't.
But you sing karaoke. That's medicine.
Definitely it is.
I think we have a possibility of a memoir title, Karaoke Is or Maybe As Medicine.
Yeah, I have some people to vouch for that.
How often in your life does it come up where you talk about, and I guess outside of maybe your therapist, but perhaps including anything related to suicide, thoughts of it, actions related to it, the past? Is that like a rare thing to bring up in your life?
It's not, because there's people struggling with their own mental health. I talk to a lot of people on a daily basis, from buses to bus stops to working with like general public, getting in conversations with people. People are just comfortable with me, and I share my story, or they share their story, I share mine.
Do you have a beret on?
Yes. I've had this hat. I have owned this hat for over 30 years. It was in Louisiana at my dad's house. And then when he died, and then in 17, and then my stepmom died in 24. And I went to the house to collect things. And this was on top of things. And I'm just like, that's something I want.
Do you have an idea about how many people you've known? I was going to say known well. You can sort of decide what that means for you, who have ended their lives by suicide?
Half a dozen to a dozen. You know, like the reality is made reality.
When's your birthday?
So it's 5 days away.
All right. Well, happy early birthday.
Thank you.
It's so interesting. The homeless kid is going to probably live to 120.
Maybe.
I know you don't have a crystal ball, but let's say we reconnect in 4 to 5 years.
That would be cool.
Right. Again, you don't have a crystal ball, but what's something in your life that might be different then?
Where I'm living,
Mm-hmm.
maybe.
Why did you want to talk with me again? Not everybody wants to.
Oh, because I wanted to, like, show you how far I've come.
Pretty cool, man.
Like, the last time we spoke, I was in a wheelchair in the middle of a park in Denver.
Why were you in a wheelchair? I don't remember that.
Because I just had surgery in June.
You're in a wheelchair now, or you?
No, I'm walking. My ankle was fused and metal was placed in my foot and on top. I got over the pain of that, and I'm on the other side.
Hmm.
And hiking up in the mountains and got into some peaks, and it's been really amazing since I didn't know that it was possible because I was in pain when I was talking to you last. The same can be said for life. I didn't know that, like, today was possible because yesterday I was in pain.
Memoir title again. Rayne, you're good.
I could help you.
Does it not beg the question, though, Rayne, given how much you love karaokeing, that when you are going up into these mountains, do you not once in a while yodel? Look, you're wearing a beret. I don't know if I'm mixing my cultures here. You love singing. I would love, when you're in the mountains, to do some yodeling, belt out some Sinatra or the Beatles or Smashing Pumpkins. How fucking rad would that?
I mean, maybe.
Rayne is changing. Changing Rayne. Oh, the memoir title has to include a rain thing with rain and I don't know. There's so many options. What does one do with such creativity? What else do you want to share?
I think we covered the hump of the things.
Before I go, I want to know one thing you love and one thing you don't love about Boulder, Colorado.
The mountains. The mountains. I don't love the snoods. Like the snooty people.
Did you call them the snoots?
Snoods. Yeah.
I love it. Can you tell me one thing you at least like about your life? I'm not going to say love, but at least like about your life, and one thing you don't.
I mean, there's a lot I don't love about my life, but one thing. I can walk like a champ compared to what I used to, but I still can't love with both hands. Like, lefty is kind of inept. Weak from paralysis.
What about the other side of that question?
My ability to converse with people, like anyone.
Well, thanks for talking, Rayne. I appreciate it. It's good to see you again.
It's good to see you, Sean.
I'm glad you're okay. Appreciate you joining me and talking openly as always. I guess I just hope things continue going well for you, and happy freaking 40th, bro.
Yeah, man. Thank you. I'll see you back in 4 or 5 years.
Right now with me, I don't know if I'm going to be around, but that's all we got, right? We can't guarantee this stuff ever. All right, my friend, thank you very much. I hope your day is decent. I appreciate your time. Appreciate your candor.
I appreciate the conversation. Later.
As always, thanks so much for listening and all of your support. Special thanks to both David and Rayne. Thanks to you both for your update. If you are a suicide attempt survivor or ideator and you'd like to talk, please reach out. I'd love to talk with you. hello@suicidenoted.com. Big push right now to follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube and share our content. It matters a lot for all kinds of reasons. Please. And that includes the tour. More information on that coming very, very soon. I would absolutely love to meet you wherever you are, whatever you are going through. It would be a blast. Until we connect again, stay strong. Do the best you can. I'll talk to you soon.